Well, hey, hello. Lionel Strange said you might stop by. I'm wearing the T-shirt in honor of the podcast. It was enjoyable to kind of spend some time with Lionel and Bruce Wilson. It's now June, and it's a gorgeous month. Weather's fantastic, and we've gotten a lot done again. Not as much as maybe as we wanted to because of business, family time, and most unusual of all, Sean got a call that said, come fix a submarine. Well, Sean works on the submarine, so it's not unusual for him, but I mean, not many of us get a call to say, come to work, we need you to fix a submarine. So that's pretty cool. Last month we talked about lighting. We got a good portion of the valance work done. I even got a portion that's completely finished to kind of show you what we've been doing with that. And it's been 1 year. And the announcement today is the main line is built. Not totally functioning yet. And we'll run a little trains here. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Because not all the electrical's done. Not all the frogs are hot. Not everything's completely finished. But come on in and let's show you what we've got. Well, here we are inside, and as you can see, this valance work is done. It's completely done. Well, not all the lights are in yet. Ended up being about 92 lights to fill in the area. That's a light every 2 feet. I've got up in the valances that are built right now, I have 72 of the 92 lights up. I have 20 more sockets to still put in. I have about 8 more feet of valance to place up there. As a matter of fact, in a little while I'm going to show you a video of what we did to put the valance up. So I'm going to just give a real quick description on that because some folks may want to know what we did. What I basically took was I took masonite and I cut it down to about 2 feet. And I talked about that in the lighting show. And so basically we took that. And John invented a really super tool, and you'll see us use it. It's just a 2x4 that has one level already put on it, and then we put a second torpedo level to make sure it's plumb to the fascia here. And it goes straight up, so it matches right along with the fascia and everything else. So we'll show a little video of that. It's a little high-speed thing. You'll see us putting up, I think, about 3 or 4 panels of this. It goes up fairly quick. Now then afterwards I put some trim on it and then painted it blue. Now it's the same color as the walls and the backdrop and everything. So in a minute here I'm going to turn on the light. Now it's going to bleed out the camera right away because right now what you're seeing, the light you're seeing over in this area here is actually from the window that you see in the beginning of the video. And that light and everything is going to bleed out. It's kind of dark in here. And not really dark. What I would describe it as is what an average American bedroom would be at. It's certainly plenty light enough that you could do, you know, reading and eating dinner or different things like that. But it's not bright on these layouts. You see it's kind of dark in these areas in here. Now I have only 40 LED lights in here. And I must report, after putting 40 of them in, they do generate heat. Now it's not certainly nowhere near the heat of an incandescent lamp, but it does warm the room up a little bit, and I do want to share that with you. So just be aware of that as you're going forward. LEDs generate heat, everybody understands that, but it generated a little more heat than I anticipated, but overall I'm still very pleased with it. So I'm going to turn the lights on, and then we're going to take a short clip over to the video that we actually building the valance, so we can go from there. So that's the lights on full, and you might be able to see the blue on the top of the valance, and it matches the wall and everything else. Now I'm using an alternating warm white and cool white. Now I'm going to dim these down. My dimmer's actually in place, and that's about half, and that is full dim. Now the camera of course adjusts for lighting, but it actually at full dim, it is about 25% of the light that these lights actually generate. And it's very noticeable. It'd be a perfect early morning, evening type lighting. So, and then the last thing is we're going to put in blue. I'm going to use blue Christmas tree lights, and they'll fit into there. Now, somebody actually, I think it was Ralph Renzetti, who I was talking on an off-show chat, was interested in actually programming the light so that they could come on at an early morning, brighten all the way up to full afternoon light, and then dim back down, and then have an evening light. I'm interested in the same thing, and I've taken a look at this, and I've got a couple suggestions. One that you could use is a product called Wink or Link, or any of these new products that are out here that actually give you capabilities of controlling your lighting in your house and all, or a particular socket by your phone. Now, once you can do that, that means you can actually program it. So that's a huge plus right there. Now, I'm not fully involved in this yet, but I have at least looked at it, and it has great potential. Now, the nice thing about it is that you will actually be able to control each socket, not just each plug. There's 2 plugs on it. You can actually control each socket, and that's really important so that you'll be able to actually dim it. Now, the product's not inexpensive. The hub is a couple $100, and each plug is about $50. Then you got to have a few other things. So it's something I'm going to do down the future, but it is certainly possible and something I'm going to be taking a look at. The other thing that I talked about in the lighting was what we were going to do through the center through here. And we had a lot of different suggestions that Sean and John and me all came up with. And actually some of the viewers actually had a few suggestions as well. The best suggestion of all, and one that I looked into and I thought was fantastic, was of course to put a suspended ceiling grid work going through here. It's a free-flowing one. It can be done, but the cost is just really kind of expensive. The tracks to go through there are not too bad. You might end up spending, with the area that I have in here, maybe $1,500, maybe a little less. Again, I haven't really priced it out, but got an idea. It's the clear panels that would go into the suspended ceiling. You'd have to cut them and everything else. They'd be absolutely fantastically, very professional. Those panels, each panel is about $20 a piece. So roughly figuring that of the 900 square feet, 25% would actually be underneath the valance. Be very expensive, but certainly something that would actually finish it off look really nice. Another viewer actually suggested the suggestion we're actually going to go with. We thought of raising the backdrops up. The backdrops going up. We put them in place, and my immediate response is, wow, that's a lot of backdrop, and it was just a little daunting. And I think one of the viewers suggested it was also a couple suggestions we had was to run a curtain down the center. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I actually have a volunteer. My wife is going to help me build curtains for not only underneath my table, but also for in the valance area. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to get a blue fabric that'll kind of match. It might be a little darker, but it basically will match my sky color that will going into here. And then I've got brown curtains to go underneath too that match my my fascia here. So in any case, let's take a look at where we're at. Okay, so here we are. What you see back there in the corner is the entrance from the staging yard. This is the Cheyenne staging yard. And you're looking now at the Loveland Y. And I'm going to back out just a bit here. You can see the Y there as it started. Over here to the right, this will be Loveland. Right now it's a workbench. And then back here, this will be the Great Western Sugar Mill right through here. So right now this is just serving as a workbench. Those areas are not even started yet. And so we come back here to the train. And then this direction, where the train is going to be heading off up to Longmount. So we got some F units, some covered wagons that we're going to send up the hill. So I'm going to take and restage the camera and move it up the hill here. And we'll pick it up here in just a second. Okay, as you can see, it's climbing up. This grade here is a 1.7 grade. It's the ruling grade on the layout. All my cars are weighted about 8 ounces. Those 3 locomotives are pulling up with no problem whatsoever. And this is about the size of an average local freight. It's going to be about 15 cars. This one's 14. Okay, here we are at Longmount, and the train will just be coming around. This is the first Peninsula. You can see a mock-up of the Great Western Sugar Mill that's here in Longmount. And this is, there'll be a transfer yard sitting in the front there. And this is, again, it's a single track at this point in time. This is one of the passing sidings. This passing siding is a little over 14 feet long, so plenty long enough for a local freight to pull in the hole to let the long drags through. And as the locomotive comes through here, you're going to see as we begin to turn here that this will be the town of Longmont, I'm sorry. And it'll be coming through here. I've just got some buildings here. These are not the buildings that may be here. They just happen to be the buildings that are in the area here. And as it begins to leave town, this is another rural area that will be going through on its way to Denver. So we'll pick it up at Denver there. This is the shortest rural area between towns from Longmont to Denver. It's about 10 feet. And as you see, it can come around here. Now underneath where it's coming in the back there is the Cheyenne staging yard that's underneath there. And as it begins to come into town here, it's got a couple switches here. One heads to Denver Union Station, and the other one goes into Rice Yard, and that's going to take the Rice Yard turn out here. And as it comes into Rice Yard is probably the biggest yard other than the staging yard on the layout here. And we're going to pause and pick it up back in Rice Yard. So here as it enters Denver Yard, this is the beginning of CTC control. The rest of the layout will be ABS, but here through Denver and the Denver industrial area is all CTC controlled. And as you can see, she's creeping through pretty slow. But this area will be the Denver rice yard is right here in front of us here. Over here is a Denver Union Station. I did a little clip on a video on that. And right now these buildings they're kind of placeholders. They're not a particular building that we're looking for. They just happen to be the one that I had from the last layout that is kind of working as a placeholder. Some of them will be used, some will be modified just a bit to fit my needs. But as it comes through here now, the rice yard is a little over, the longest track is probably about 20 feet long, and the shortest ones are about 12 feet. It's a double-ended yard as we come in here. Denver Union Station is in the same situation. Its longest tracks are about, they're about 18 feet, and the shortest one is 10 feet, again, for managing locals and things like that as they come in. As it comes into this area here, this is where the, I'm going to try and dip it down. There's the double slip switches. And the cars that you're about to see there, those are on the branch line that serves the Denver industrial area. And that's got that custom crossing. And from that branch line, you can't actually reach it from the main line except through your rice yard and coming in from that direction. And then the local train there can actually work on all the industrial areas there without interfering with mainline operations whatsoever. And here in a minute you're going to see this is the beginning of the double line that goes from Denver down all the way to Pueblo, Colorado, which we don't model Pueblo. That's actually my other end of the staging yard. And as you can see here, yep. There we go. This is the icing platform. This icing platform only serves westbound trains. Eastbound trains are returning back to Texas and California. And so they'll just be servicing that. As you can see here in the backdrop, in the background there's my grain mill. And then down here at the very end will be Phillips Petroleum, where they have a refinery located in Denver. And as it rounds the end, this is the second peninsula, and as it rounds the end, it'll be coming out of Denver and into Palmer Lake. So the entire Denver area is well over 50 feet long. You got roughly 32 feet on one side and a 24-inch peninsula, so that's what, about 56 feet. So pretty decent representation of Denver here. All right, we're going to pick it up at Palmer Lake. Okay, here we are at, I'm actually at the entrance into Colorado Springs. It's another 24-foot long peninsula. This is going to represent Palmer Lake and the double line that comes through there. This is opposite of Longmont on the other side, which you can see just right over here. And as you can see coming down here, this is just going to be a real rural area as it comes into Colorado Springs. And from here it actually goes into Colorado Springs and into another yard. And we'll talk about that when it comes down here. This is all spline going through this area through here. All right, as we are sitting here, we're at the opposite end of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is probably about a good 15 feet long, and it's running the main line. Up against the table edge will be the yard, and this will be coming into on its way out the door. You can see right down here where the transfer between the yard and crossing over to the industrial area, where all the glue and all that is up there in the corner. That'll actually be a coal generated plant that, or coal electric generator plant that goes there. It's the Mandrake electric plant that's there in Colorado Springs. Still there today. A lot more modern than what it was in 1959, but nonetheless it will serve. Now this is areas in here where the frogs are not wired, so you can see the lights turning on and off as it comes through here. We'll eventually have those all hot wired and ready to go. And now it comes around the end. This is the third peninsula. And as it goes, I'm going to move with the train here. This will be the last rural area in which it heads off into the Pueblo staging yard. It's also the end of my double line. This end of the peninsula is also the tightest radius on the layout. It is a 52-inch radius. And then it's going to go into there and off the layout. So that's my layout as it sits right now. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope the layout tour was enjoyable. Unfortunately, this last month we've been doing a lot of carpentry work, which doesn't really get much going on the layout, but with the main line being completed, electrical to be worked on in the next month, we should have trains going all the way around the layout, unstopped with no electrical problems whatsoever. At that point in time, we'll actually take a little pause as we fix all turnouts, any problems we begin to find. We will repair all of those things and get them going. Also, we'll be working with JMRI on my dispatcher's desk, making sure that we're getting signals from block occupiers that we'll be wiring up and things like that. So that's what it looks like for the next couple months, actually doing a lot of troubleshooting, which doesn't go very fast, but I would imagine about the November, December time frame, we will begin to start scenery and filling in some of the other towns in the industrial areas and laying track like that. Even while the train's running around, I'll be building yards and building turnouts to do that. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have yourself a great summer, and as always, happy model railroading.